Welcome in. Friday night. Welcome into the Rumbles of Red. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hopefully you grabbed yourself a nice cold one and settle in here for the next hours. We talk championship football. We got the AFC Conference Championship, the NFC Conference Championship. If you're already watching, following on YouTube Live, go ahead and hit that like button if you would. Join us in the chat today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Rumbles of Red. And if you're listening today on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. Hit the subscribe button. I'm ready to go right on in and jump into these games. You guys ready? Let's do this. As you're trickling in, I want to know in the chat, first thing in the chat, and I'll put it in there as well. I don't care about price. I don't care about what they've done so far. I want to know who you think is the best DFS quarterback of this weekend. We have 4 great quarterbacks, right? We've got Brady versus Rodgers in the first game. We've got Mahomes versus Allen in the second game. Great quarterbacks. Go ahead and put in the chat who you think is just based on fantasy points, the best quarterback of this weekend. Yo, welcome in, Taylor. All right, so as you're telling me who you think is going to be the best quarterback of the weekend, before we get too much further in here, I do want to give a shout out. Threads and More, the new swag, the Rumbles of Red t-shirts. I told her if she sent me one, I'd make sure I do as much advertising as possible. Go ahead and hit her up on Facebook, Threads and More. She's doing some awesome work trying to get this thing kicked off. And we're going to try to find a way to have a giveaway for the listeners. So if you've got any cool ideas, tweet me at Trev's Fantasy Pod on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook at the Rumbles of Red. Chat me there if you will. But looking for a cool idea to have a giveaway, have a promotion. We'll see how it goes. I've got an idea here in a little bit for tonight's broadcast. But again, we got to hit those likes. And I'm looking for one particular person in the chat. I told him if he gets there, I might have some fun with him. So settle in. Let's get into some action here. Start with our pick'ems. The playoff pick'ems are going to be weird this week. For us to catch Herbie and the Lou, it's going to be, you're going to have to get weird. But how do you really get weird with just 4 teams and 2 games? So I'm not going to get very weird. I'm just going to try to kind of play it and see how he does. And he's going to have to make his own 4 picks too. So we'll see where he goes. But I'm going to go Packers, Chiefs. I believe in both of these teams. I think they're the best teams of the weekend. And I'm going to go the highest scoring team as the Packers with the lowest scoring team as the Bucs. Maybe the Packers, I don't think this happens, but maybe they can win it, 38-27, and the Chiefs Bills go 34-31, something to that matter. I don't really like taking the highest team in the same game as the lowest team, but there's only 2 games, so we got to do something, got to be a little different. I am currently 3 points behind Herbie and the Lou. So Herbie and the Lou, if you're here tonight, shout out to you. 10 points. He's got a 2-point lead heading into Championship Sunday, and there's only 5 points left available, so he's sitting in a really good spot with just 2 weekends of football left. Want to thank SM Auto Detailing for sponsoring the Reds playoff pick'ems. It's been fun. Again, this is our last big weekend, and if Herbie and the Lou goes into the Super Bowl with a 2-point lead, he wraps it up. He wins the pick'ems. So shout out to SM Auto Detailing for sponsoring us there. You can go to SM Auto Detailing for your free quote today. Sam's doing an awesome job. He does interior, exterior work on detailing your vehicle. You hear a lot about detailing vehicles. A lot of people do the interior. To get both done in one shot, I think it's really important and huge work that he does there. Again, it's smautodetailing.com. Herbie and Lou says, I'm here. Big Red Daddy. I like it. Taylor so far says he thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to come out as the top quarterback of the weekend. You're going to hear my thoughts on that here in a little bit as well. I can agree with you there. What else? Who else has quarterbacks out there you thinking is going to be the best quarterback? We're not talking salary. We don't care about value. I just want to know who you think is going to score the most points at quarterback. We're going to take a look at both games. We're going to talk about DFS. I've got some of my favorite bets for both of the games. And then, there's only 2 games, so we can only talk about 2 games for so long. I want to build a lineup with you. I want to build a lineup with you all. I want to try to build a lineup with you guys in the chat just to kind of see how that looks. Have some fun with it here at the end of the stream. Hopefully you enjoy it. So we're going to get to that as well. But let's start off with the NFC Championship. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a 24-point implied total at the Green Bay Packers, a 27-point implied total. The Packers are 3.5-point favorite with over under a 52. So I'm gonna do a 4-game parlay this week. Normally we do the bets from the West. We have a 6-point teaser. That's fine this week. You can do a 6-point teaser with 4 games. Hit the spread and the total of both the games. You get 4 picks. It only pays out about $235, I think it was. That's fine, but let's go for the big one. Let's go. We're gonna go a 4-pick parlay. $5 wins you $60 back. We'll hit it. So we'll do that. So I'm gonna start here with this game. I'm taking Packers -3.5, and I'm taking the over. And you're gonna hear later, I actually think this game goes higher than the Chiefs-Bills game. I don't think anybody's gonna stop Aaron Rodgers. He is hot. I mean, he is the hottest quarterback in the land, I believe, right now. I know everybody wants to talk about Josh Allen, and they're winning, but he put up 17 points last week against the Ravens. Aaron Rodgers destroyed the number 1 defense in the NFL in the Los Angeles Rams last week. That gets us started right here. Rodgers versus Brady, and we're going to have to ask ourselves a lot of questions as we go through here. There's a lot of guys on the same team that are salaried similarly. We're going to have to take a quarterback. There's only 4 of them out here to choose from. Where are we going to go? So let's look at Rodgers versus Brady. Brady's the cheapest quarterback on the slate. $7,800 on FanDuel. You could start right here with salary savings because there's a lot of salary out there to be had. There's a lot of expensive guys too. So you could start right here with Brady. Go the cheapest. Just tell yourself they're going to have to pass to keep up with Aaron Rodgers. Tell yourself, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to score a lot of points, but it's all going to be on Aaron Jones' back, and Brady's going to have to pull it off. He's got the weapons to do it. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronk. Antonio Brown will be out this week. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but he's the cheapest guy. He's Allen. So if you're just trying to save a little bit of money right here, right off the bat, you can. For me, though, and I see another one right here is Rodgers. As Matt comes in, he says Rodgers is the best. And I agree. Rodgers is the guy that I want. He's been hot. The Bucs run defense is great. And for me, when I look at this Bucs run defense and I'm building this lineup, I'm thinking to myself, I can't rely solely on Aaron Jones, right? That could be where you're going. Therefore, I can see every time the Packers get in within the 10-yard line, they throw the football, right? We saw it last week. Devonta Adams starts on the right side of the field. He motions to the left. Jalen Ramsey follows him. They quickly motion him back to the right, snap the football, throw him a 2-yard touchdown pass before Jalen Ramsey can get back through all the defenders. I mean, the Packers are very creative around the goal line. That's why they throw so many touchdowns to Robert Tonyan and Jay Sternberger. right? Lazard and MVS, they get theirs, especially MVS on long passes if he hits. But when it gets around the goal line, they're not afraid to throw it to Devonta Adams, Robert Tonyan, Jay Sternberger, any of these guys. Jamal Williams will get some run there. I just like Aaron Rodgers against this poor pass defense rather than trying to stuff it in the run there against a great run defense. That's why I really like Aaron Rodgers this week. And I'll talk a little bit about how, Josh Allen's $200 cheaper. Aaron Rodgers is only sitting around about 20% of ownership right now. And so if I can get Aaron Rodgers at 20% less than what you're going to get Josh Allen at and only have to pay $200 more, we're going to love that for GPP and tournament plays. Loving what we're seeing in the chat. Now we're getting fired up. Got five people in the chat right now, but I have 0 likes. So hit the like button. It literally does nothing for you, but it does a lot for me. It doesn't hurt you. It's not hard, right? Just hit that like button. The more likes we get, the more views we get, the more that we can be seen and found by others that really want this content. Let's see. Rodgers destroyed the Rams and Brady hung 30 on the Saints in the Dome. Packers drafting a quarterback was the best thing that ever happened to Rodgers, right? Look at that. Look, the Eagles draft a quarterback and Carson Wentz loses his mind. The Packers draft a quarterback and Aaron Rodgers says, let's go. All right, I'll go be the NFL MVP and take my team to the NFC Championship. I saw a quote this week that Aaron Rodgers said something about everybody said we were the worst 13-3 team last year. Where are those critics this year, right? This is a really good football team. And I like Aaron Rodgers this week in DFS. Rodgers is the play. Lucas is in here. Rodgers is the play. I'm telling you. I'm with you guys. Let's ride him. Let's ride him and let's win some money off of it. Let's talk a little bit more about Aaron Jones, the highest priced running back on the slate, $8,000. He's sitting around about the second, probably going to be second or third most owned running back as well. And to me, the question here, like I said, this is a question. Who are you going to play, Rodgers or Brady? Is Aaron Jones worth the $8,000 price point? Highest running back on the slate. Going to be, highly owned compared to others. And for me, the short answer is no. There's cheaper running backs that you kind of half punt on. If you want to call it a punt, you kind of half punt on them. I'm looking to pay up for wide receiver and Travis Kelce this week, so I really need the salary savings at running back. I don't mind if I'm going to play an onslaught, Packers onslaught with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devonta Adams, an onslaught stack like that. I'm just saying, look, the Packers are just going to really take it to the Bucs. Okay, I can get down with that. I also can get down with if I'm just going to play maybe 3 players from this game. I'm going to go heavy Bills, Chiefs. I want a little exposure. I'm going to take Jones and the Packers defense, bring it back with a cheap Scotty Miller play, something to that matter. I can get down with it too. Now, in that sense, I'm fading Aaron or Devonta Adams, right? Like if that's the way you're going to play it. But other than those two, I mean, if I'm going to stack the Bucs, I'm not bringing it back to Aaron Jones. And I guess, honestly, I mean, you're not necessarily going to be playing a lot of Packers Bucs in a stacking situation if you're going to stack the Bills or the Chiefs. So, again, Jones Packers secondary stack or just an onslaught full-on Packers stack, go for it. But for me, I don't really want a lot of Aaron Jones this week. 8,000 is just way too much for how cheap you can get a running back. This is a passing league, and these 4 teams are pass-heavy teams. I know the Packers are the least pass-heavy of the 4, but I think there's a lot of passes in this game, on this Sunday night slate. I'd like to be able to know. I wonder if there's a betting line, like over under total passes for the weekend. That'd be a nice line. I would probably take the under or the over, no matter what it is. Next question in this game: you gonna play Allen Lazard or MVS? Same question we had last week, right? Allen Lazard, $200 more than MVS. Both will be pretty low owned. Right now, Lazard's coming in around 15%. MVS way lower, less than 5%. I think they're both great leverage plays. If you're going to fade Devonta Adams, and we'll get to that here in a little bit, but if you're going to fade Devonta Adams, one of these two guys have to be in play, I would think. Last week I said Allen Lazard was the safe play. He was the guy that you needed. If you were going to win the big money last week, he was the guy that you really needed in your lineup. He was that cheap play that others, sitting around. What was he sitting around? John Brown, Cole Beasley, sitting around that salary last week. And Lazard's the one that hit. He was the big money play. I think Marquise Brown was around that same salary last week. But for me, I'm going MVS again. I told you last week I thought MVS was the guy for tournament plays, and I'm going to go back that way again. 10% less. I mean, he's less than 5% owned. That's projections, of course. And I think with Allen Lazard's big game last week, most people playing wide receivers in this range will take an Allen Lazard or take the Bills, which leaves us with MVS minus 5%. Public will be on Lazard after last week. Absolutely. That's exactly, yes. I'm on board with you there. With MVS at $5,500, you're this week you're talking MVS, Lazard, Watkins. You've got Brown, Cole Beasley, Mecole Hardman. These are all guys within 5,300 and 5,700 salary. So this week in running back or wide receivers, you got the top three guys all in the 8,000. You got 2 Bucs players in the 6,000s. And then you've got this whole handful of guys between 53 and 5,700. If you're going to do a Packers play, I really like MVS the best. He's not the safest play. Lazard's still the safer play, but MVS is the guy who can go for a 50-yard bomb and really break the slate, in my opinion. And of course, as I mentioned, the Buccaneers pass catchers, it's Godwin versus Evans. Right? They're both in that mid 66 or 6,800. Evans is 66, Godwin 68. There's no Antonio Brown this week. Does that pull the Tampa Bay offense down? Not in my opinion, no. I think some people think that Tom Brady's love for Antonio Brown is so strong that maybe it hurts him. I don't believe it hurts the offense that bad. Mike Evans is be shadowed Jair Alexander. Are you worried about that? Godwin has a lot of drops in the playoffs already. Are you worried about that? For me, if I'm comparing the two, I don't want either one of them. I probably won't. Honestly, I won't find myself playing either one of these very much. I love the top guys, the top 3 guys. And Kelsey, I love them way more. I want as much as that as I can get, which to me would make me have to drop all the way down to the 5,000, 5,500 range and have some salary savings and save, $1,000, $1,300 and not use these guys. If I'm going to pick one of these two guys, I guess I should probably answer that, right? To me, it's twofold. If I'm constructing one, I need volume bring back, I'm going to go Godwin. If I'm constructing a roster that I am looking for just the one-off touchdown or maybe a buck stack, I'm going to go Evans because Evans is the touchdown guy. And then on FanDuel, that's big time because it's not a PPR. It's a half point. It's not a full point PPR. So if I'm going Packers onslaught or Packers big stack, think the Packers are going to really run this up, I want to bring back Godwin. He's going to get the most volume. If I'm just playing, like I said earlier, like an Aaron Jones with the Packers as a secondary stack and I just need one off on this game, I'm going to take Evans. Also for Tampa Bay, they've got a running back situation that we got to talk through here. Leonard Fournette's been the man for them in the playoffs so far. But man, I love Ronald Jones this week. He ran great last week, in my opinion. Every time he came in, he just looked like the better runner still. He is the better runner. He's been the better runner all year. 13 carries last week after Bruce Arians came out and said, we'll give him a couple chances here and there. Gets 13 carries. I think he ended up going for 60-some yards, somewhere in there. Now he's another week removed from his injury. I can easily see Ronald Jones going up to about 22 carries and then Leonard Fournette going down to 10 or 12 carries. You add in that potential. You add in an ownership discrepancy of about 20%. Fournette's coming in around 32, Rojo around 9%. And then Rojo's $1,600 cheaper than Fournette. Fournette's $7,200, the second highest running back on the slate. And yes, if you say the Packers are going to get up early and Lenny's going to be in the game the whole time trying to play catch up as the pass catching running back, okay, you can tell that story. For me, I can't find myself to pay $7,200 for that running back. Again, I'm paying up for the wide receivers this week, and we're going to build that lineup here in a little while. All right, so we've kind of talked about this game. I'm going to talk about Gronk and Robert Tonyan here in a minute as well. But in the chat here, you're in the chat. I see you in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button. But outside of Devonta Adams and outside of the quarterback, so get rid of take the quarterbacks out and take out Devonta Adams. Who's your favorite play in this first game? Is it one of these wide receivers from Green Bay? Is it one of these Bucs wide receivers? Is it a running back? Maybe it's one of these two tight ends that I'm about to talk about. Who's your favorite play Green Bay, Tampa Bay game this week outside of Devonta Adams or one of the quarterbacks? All right, let's talk about saving salaries out of this game while you guys hit us up in the chat there. Gronk, Robert Tonyan. You've got a couple options here. Looking at these tight ends early, when we say early in the first game, right? You can fade Travis Kelce altogether. Run out one of these two guys, save a ton of money, fade Travis Kelce. That's an option. Or you could also double up on tight ends, right? Put one of these guys in tight end, put Travis Kelce in the flex. Travis Kelce's a wide receiver anyways. We'll talk about him later. But you could then run two tight ends and be different because I don't expect two tight end rosters to be highly popular this week. So you could run two tight ends, just be different this week. Give yourself a good chance of trying to take down a top tournament. For me, out of these two guys, I like Gronk more than Tonyan if I'm just playing a one-off. Again, I'm chasing the touchdown. If I'm just going to play a one-off, I need a guy who's going to score touchdowns. I'm going to go with Gronk. 3 end zone targets last week. Tom Brady loves Robert Gronkowski. We know that, right? And he doesn't have AB to force it to anymore. So who's he going to force the ball to this week? He's not going to force the ball to the other two guys. They just are great athletes and great wide receivers. He'll force the ball to Gronk. 3 end zone targets last week. But when you're looking at this, it's going to be about that roster construction, right? If I'm going to smash the Packers, I'm going Rodgers and Adams and MVS and Robert Tonyan. Like if you're going to just onslaught 4 Packers, 3, you're essentially triple stacking with Aaron Rodgers. Okay, roll with it. Take on Robert Tonyan. I love it. It would be hard to say no to something like that. If that's the case, whether it's Tonyan or not, if you're going Packers heavy, maybe you're going to do the Rodgers, Jones, Adams stack that I talked about. Maybe you're going to go Adams, Rodgers, and MVS or Lazard, whatever the case. I don't like Gronk as the bring back. I only like Gronk truly in a roster construction that you're saying, I'm taking one Buccaneer. I'm playing a Mahomes or an Allen in the next game. I need one Buccaneer who's going to score a touchdown. I'll go with Gronk in that situation. But I'm not going to use him as a bring back. Again, if I'm going to take a bring back, I want Chris Godwin or maybe this next guy, the ultimate cash saver of the weekend, Scotty Miller, $4,900. There's only one other wide receiver that you could play that's this cheap, and that has to do with whether or not Sammy Watkins plays or not. And we'll talk about that later, but no Antonio Brown, which means Scotty Miller is the next in line at $4,900. Put him in there, save yourself a lot of salary in this game, and help yourself out elsewhere, and maybe he hits. In this case, you're only looking for 10 points to double up with Scotty Miller, right? He could be a one-off bring back. He could be a part of a Bucs onslaught stack. He could be part of a stack the Packers and bring 2 Bucs back with Godwin or Evans and a Scotty Miller. You could really mix and match Scotty Miller with this $4,900 price. I like it a lot. And he's projected to still be pretty low owned for how cheap he's going to be. How about some Tyler Johnson? It'd be hard. I think for me, in that situation, you're saying Tyler Johnson over Scotty Miller, which you could be correct. I like Scotty Miller a little better. I know Tyler Johnson got a little run last week too. But going off of what they did earlier in the season, it was the Scotty Miller was the guy anytime any of these wide receivers got hurt. Let me catch up here. Who else you got? Adams, Diggs, Hill, Kelsey. You have to fade at least one. We're going to talk about that here actually here in a little while. If I heard right, I disagree about Gio. Gronk. Oh, you disagree with Gronk. Okay. Just want to let you know I was here so you don't complain all next week. Well, thank you. I appreciate the support. Hit the like button, would you? All right. So I don't think I got anybody to tell us actually who their most favorite play out of this first game that wasn't named. Devonta Adams. Mike says, how about Tyler Johnson? I don't think that's his favorite play, though. Stay away from Gronk. I agree. I'm not going after Gronk. Don't hear me wrong. I'm simply saying if you're trying to find touchdowns only in this first game, if you're just playing one player from the Bucs, I wouldn't mind playing Gronk in that situation, knowing he had 3 end zone targets last week. So you know that Tom Brady's looking for Gronk in the end zone. That's where you're going with there. All right, and we're going to move on from this game. Don't worry, I'm not going to discount Devonta Adams. We're going to talk about him. I've got him kind of looped in with Hill and Diggs in a moment, so we'll talk about him. But I want to give you my pick here, and I'd like you to throw your pick in the chat. I saw a couple guys doing this at the end of last week, and I thought it was very, very fun, interactive. My pick in this game, Packers 33, Buccaneers 27. 33-27. Like I said, I think this is the highest scoring game out of the two. I don't know why. I'm probably way off, but I just think this game turns into a high scoring affair. I don't really think either one of these defenses are great. I agree. I think the same thing with the next game. Both the defenses are weaknesses. The Bucs run defense is great, but this pass defense, let's not get scared because this pass defense picked off Drew Brees a couple times last week, right? I'm not worried about that, but I know Tom Brady's going to score, right? He's Tom Brady. He's going to put up the points, and he's going to have to try to keep up with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that happens. I think Aaron Rodgers wins this game, and the Packers go off to the Super Bowl, winning 33-27. Talk about the Fantasy Football League real quick for the playoffs. I still got my Bills Green Bay stack going. I'm the only one in our league that has a Bills and Green Bay stack. And look, if the Chiefs lose on Sunday, I'm going in full depression mode. We all know that. Felt like it was about to happen last week. But also, if the Chiefs lose, I feel like I got a shot at the top prize. I know a lot of people are going to have the Bills, but if Green Bay wins too, I would be the only lineup with the Buffalo players at ×4 and Green Bay players at ×3 in the Super Bowl. So we'll see if it pans out that way. Hopefully it doesn't pan out that way, but that's the way it could be. And as we're talking about the Fantasy Football League here, I just want to thank Homefront Realty sponsoring the Fantasy League this year. Look, Chris is going to be there for you. If you are ready to buy or sell your home, give Chris a call at 620-212-0221. He's with Homefront Realty. Homefront Realty LLC, serving all for those that have. Lucas has pack 35 bucks 31, going high scoring with me. I like it. All right, let's go into the AFC Championship game here. Bills 25.5 implied point total at the Kansas City Chiefs, 28.5 implied point total. The line right now is Chiefs 3.5 with a total of 54. And this 54 has went up quite a bit. I think it opened around 50 if I remember right. Opened around 50. It's been moving in a hurry. I think obviously it kind of tells all of us, right, that everyone was expecting Mahomes to be playing from the beginning and try to jump on that over early. For me, with the parlay, I'm taking Chiefs 3.5 at home, and I'm taking the over again. I'm taking over 54. I think that's going to make for more fun football, right? So might as well run that. I'm going Chiefs minus 3.5 and the over of 54. I'd much rather see Chiefs 2.5, get that field goal, but it never moved that way. It's only actually moved towards the Chiefs side of things. And I don't know. I don't know why the Chiefs aren't favored by more, to be honest. Not just because I'm a Chiefs fan, but mainly just because Josh Allen has never been in this situation, and Mahomes and company have been, right? 3 years in a row. So I think that now that they're at home, I could just see the Chiefs winning this game by 6 to 9 points potentially. So I like that 3.5 there. So let's take a look at our first question of this game, right? Mahomes versus Allen. Mahomes and Allen, they're both sitting around 35% projected ownership, with Mahomes at 9,000 and Allen at 8,500. For me, I think that you see a scenario where they could score similar points. Both of these guys could come out and score 25 to 30 points for the respective teams in daily fantasy. And in that case, if that happens, if they do come out and score the same, Allen becomes arguably the best value at quarterback on the slate. $8,500. He's cheaper than Rodgers. He's cheaper than Mahomes. The similar ownership. It's in this situation, it's hard not to take Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes. You're saving yourself $500. For me, on the other end of it, if you want to argue Mahomes at 9,000, it's so expensive. I've been messing with it. I've tried to put together some Mahomes stacks, but it gets tight in a hurry. But we all know that Mahomes can put up 4 touchdowns in a hurry as well. Very similar to when I talked about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers throwing it inside the 10, the Chiefs and Mahomes does the same thing. They're going to throw it inside the 10 as well. In that situation, again, Mahomes could easily rack up 4 touchdowns in a hurry, and he ends up being the quarterback that you wanted, not Josh Allen. Backs in this game. On the Chiefs side of things, Clyde, $1,000 this week. Who are you playing, Mahomes or Allen? If you're playing one of those two, I know a lot of you said Rodgers earlier, but if you're playing one of those two, Mahomes or Allen, which one are you playing? You taking the running ability and the $500 savings with Allen? Or are you taking the man, the Super Bowl MVP, Patrick Mahomes? I need you to respond to a gambling question. I don't think I saw a gambling question. I need you to restate the gambling question. I don't have time to go back. Ben, welcome in. Welcome into the chat, man. He says he's taking Josh Allen over Mahomes. Well, I thought maybe some of my Chiefs homers here would take Mahomes with me, but nobody else is saying Mahomes yet. All right, let's talk running backs. Clyde. If Clyde plays, I love Clyde. Oh, you've got Allen times 3. Yeah, so does the entire league. Everybody in Reds fantasy playoffs has Allen times 3 and Diggs times 3. Everyone. But you all made a mistake. You all pivoted to Kelsey. They can't all win. You can't get them both next week or 2 weeks. All right, running backs in this game. Again, if Clyde plays, I love Clyde. I want to play him if he is active. He did practice on Friday. I told you I'd give you a quick practice report. I had it pulled up here. So it looks like officially Clyde was a limited participant all week long, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and he is questionable for the game. Andy Reid, I saw, had some great comments about him this week. If he plays, I want him. If Clyde doesn't play, Darrell Williams is a lock. $6,000. Again, we want to go cheap at running back. He's a lock. I think he can be a lock. Either one of these guys, Clyde's only 6,200. So if he plays, either one of these guys could be a lock in most all roster constructions, depending on what route you're going. I want to play, for me, I want to play these running backs with the Packers stack, right? I'm going big Packers. I'm probably then going to be fading a little bit of this Bills-Chiefs game, but I want the running back here in Kansas City. So if I'm running a big Packers stack, I want one of the Chiefs running backs, or I could go a Chiefs onslaught here. I could go Mahomes with CEH and Hill. I probably will avoid a Mahomes, Clyde, Kelsey. Usually running backs and tight ends negative correlate each other. But as I was talking to one of the guys earlier, and I was telling the same thing, like, it doesn't really matter with Kelsey, right? He's a wide receiver. So I don't know. So I think I'm going to take either way. I would take Clyde in a Chiefs onslaught if I was going that route. If I'm going to play a Bills onslaught, I don't want to bring one of these running backs back. That's probably like the one time I won't play a Chiefs running back is if I'm going. Josh Allen's going to be hooking up with Stephon Diggs and John Brown, maybe Dawson. Like, they're going to be scoring all these touchdowns. The Chiefs will abandon the run in a hurry. So I'm not going to bring them back with one of these guys. It doesn't, like, the Chiefs don't play that way. The Chiefs will come out and run the ball. When the Bills and Chiefs played early in the season, the Bills came out and played this fallback, cover 2. We're going to force you to run the football. And they did. And the Chiefs ran the football. And Clyde had a monster game. I don't know if the Bills come out and do the exact same thing. It didn't necessarily work the first time. But if they do, I mean, the Bills were 20th in run defense this year. So why not play? Why not lock one of these guys in? On the Bills side, running back Devin Singletary or TJ Yeldon. Singletary is currently projected to be the highest owned running back on the slate, and I hate it. The Bills will abandon the run as well, just like the Chiefs. The Bills gave this guy like 5 or 6 opportunities last week. And at 5,800, yeah, he's super cheap, which is why he's going to be one of the highest owned guys or highest owned running backs because he's one of the cheaper. But I don't like Devin Singletary. I really don't like either one of these running backs. If you're going to just 100%, I need to save salary at running back. I don't care about running back. I think none of the running backs are going to do worth it crap this week. Just saving money. I'm going $4,700 TJ Yeldon. Okay. I can see that. Maybe he catches a ball and scores a touchdown. I could see that. I don't hate that. But I don't think I'm going to have very many shares of Devin Singletary at 50% owned. Absolutely not. Not with these Bills abandoning the run game. No way. Excuse me. All right. If you're in the chat watching YouTube live, hit that like button, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, thank you for listening on the podcasts. At the Rumbles of Red. Find me on Twitter at FantasyPod. I'm gonna answer this question in the chat. Then I'm gonna pose my own question for the chat. What's your take on gambling on the upset of your favorite team? If your team wins, you're happy. If they lose, you win some money. It's either way, you lose, right? But I think that for me anyways, in gambling, you really have to try to take your heart out of it as much as possible. Because if you gamble with your heart, you're going to lose a lot of money. If you gamble with your brain, because if you gamble with and you truly believe in what you're gambling on because of the points or the spreads or the team that you think is going to win, you're going to win more money. You're going to win more contests, those kind of things. In this situation, I see, I know the drunken gambler is the one that posed this question here on the YouTube live in the chat. He's talking about trying to gamble to gain a leader on the pick'ems. The way I would answer this to you personally is you just won a full season long pick'ems. I know you did. You won the full season long pick'ems, and you probably in this case, I assume you're talking about the Chiefs. You took the Chiefs every week. You never just bet against them because you never expect them to lose. Nobody did, right? You choose the team you truly think is going to win the game. I'm still going with the Chiefs this week because I truly think they're going to win that game. It's not necessarily because I'm trying to waver and have a little bit of good feeling. If the Chiefs lose, I win something else. I don't like that. I don't try to play that way. I want to gamble on who I actually think is going to win the game. All right, so my question for you in the chat, and I saw somebody point this out earlier, you're going to have to fade one of these wide receivers. Devonta Adams at 8,900, Stephon Diggs 8,300, Tyreek Hill 8,400. Who of these three would you fade? If you're building a DFS lineup this weekend, which one of these players are you going to fade? Which wide receiver are you going to leave off your lineup? Because you got to leave one of them off, at least. Which one are you going to do? Let me know in the chat, and I'll tell you who I'm going to do. I'm fading Diggs. If I can spend $100 more and get Tyreek Hill at a lower owned in a big tournament, that's where I'm going. And that's why ownership plays such a big part in this. Ownerships of essentially how many people in my tournament have Tyreek Hill versus Stephon Diggs. Diggs is nearly 60%. Hill's nearly 50%. I have a 10% leverage right there, and I only have to pay $100 more. I'm taking Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill also runs out of the slot. Matt passed along a stat earlier today. I was talking with him. PFF rates the Bills slot corner, and don't ask me to name the guy, but the Bills slot corner in the 60s. There's only 32 teams in the NFL, which tells me there's maybe 64 slot corners in the NFL, like probably two of them. I assume there's probably 70 to 75 rated by PFF. But the Bills corner is in the 60s. I think Tyreek Hill is going to feast on Sunday night. At home, Mahomes is back. They're not going to want Mahomes to sit back in that pocket too long. There's going to be a lot of quick crossing routes, a lot of quick outs, catch the ball, run, a couple screens to him, maybe a couple end arounds. I just think they're going to use as much Tyreek Hill as they can. And really with this passing game and with the Chiefs, everything funnels to Hill and Kelsey. Watkins gets his every once in a while, right? Robinson, if Watkins is out. Hardman everyone gets a play every once in a while. But it's a heavy, heavy majority of the passing goes to Hill and Kelsey. Where if you look at the Bills, they've got John Brown, Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis, Dawson Knox around, and Lee Smith around the end zone. They're both going to have at least one end zone target, you'd have to think. There's just a lot more going on with the Bills offense, which makes the Bills really good and really hard to stop. But it doesn't all funnel to Stephon Diggs. A lot of it does, but not nearly like the Chiefs do with Tyreek Hill. Devonta Adams, I purposely did not talk about him earlier. He's my lock at wide out of these three. I'm actually, honestly, I'm hopeful. So right now, the projected ownership is around 52.5%. For me, I think that with the $8,900 with the $8,900 price point and the idea that Tampa Bay shut down Michael Thomas last week. So that's what we're going. So $8,900, the most expensive wide receiver, and this same defense just shut down Michael Thomas last week. That, to me, I'm really hopeful it drives that 52% down, maybe under 50%. I'd really love to get Devonta Adams under 50%. Don't fall into that trap. Adams is the best wide receiver in the game right now. So you, as my follower, don't fall into that trap. Play Devonta Adams. Lock him into your lineups. There's two guys you lock into your lineups this week. It's Devonta Adams and it's Travis Kelce. And then you figure the rest out. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I'm going to be running out lineups this week. It's those guys. And it's a toss-up between Hill and Diggs at that point. I see a couple people say Diggs in the chat as well. That's who I'm fading. You got to fade one of the three. All right, let's talk about some secondary guys here. I'm going to kind of speed through all these secondary guys in this game because I want to build a lineup with you guys. All right, starting with the Bills. So you got John Brown or Cole Beasley. Who are you going to take? That's kind of your first choice as you're looking through here. Beasley throws up the 0 last week. Remember, John Brown throws up the 0 in round 1. Last week, he follows it up with 10 points. The two cannot score together right now, so you got to pick one of them. Both of their projected ownerships around 35%. Cole Beasley's $100 more. Your guess is as good as mine. Like, who are you going to take here? Cole Beasley or John Brown? I liked John Brown in round 1. He put up a goose egg. That's fine. I liked him in round 2 as well, and I'm sticking with him in round 3. I think he's still the better wide receiver, and he's got the highest ceiling, in my opinion. I think he's the guy who can really go off against this Chiefs defense. Cole Beasley can, but if I'm taking percentages, I'm betting on John Brown. When I'm talking about these guys, I'm going to look at roster construction once again. And I could play either one of these two guys with the Bills onslaught stack, right? I can go Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, John Brown, Cole Beasley, one of those two guys. But for me, if I'm fading Diggs, full-on fade of Stephon Diggs, I really want to go John Brown. And if you really want to get interesting and you're going to fade this Bills, you could go down to maybe a Gabriel Davis. He hasn't practiced all week. Got to make sure he's going to play, but he's at 5,000. So if you're going to say, look, I don't think this Bills offense gets it done against the Chiefs this week, I'm kind of fading the Bills offense. Throw in the cheap play at Gabriel Davis. Maybe he gets another 4 for 80. Maybe he gets into a touchdown this week, really pays off for you. You're going to be okay there. Again, make sure he's playing. If he doesn't play, you can go even deeper into the salaries with Isaiah McKenzie, but I'm staying away from Isaiah McKenzie mostly. For the Chiefs secondary, it's secondary wide receivers, sorry. It's Watkins. If Watkins plays, he's the man you want to play. He's in that $5,400 range I talked about earlier. If he doesn't play, Demarcus Robinson becomes a better play than Scotty Miller, right? Scotty Miller is the $4,900 play. Robinson's the $4,800 play. If Sammy Watkins doesn't play, I'm playing Demarcus Robinson over Scotty Miller every time probably. Both of those guys are like the huge salary relief guys. They're under $5K. You're going to have to save salary. Those are great guys that save salary at. But again, I'd rather have Robinson. This week, I'm out on Hardman. He could hit the big play because I'm out on him this week. That's probably what will happen. But he's not getting the volume or even the routes run that Demarcus Robinson got last week. That's why I'm so high on Robinson. Tight ends here, Dawson Knox. He's the cheapest tight end of them all. He's the dart throw tight end. You hope that he catches the touchdown, which could happen. I mean, the Chiefs defense isn't phenomenal by any means. So a tight end touchdown could vary, but also could go to Lee Smith for Buffalo. So you're a little worried about that. And then, of course, to end it, Travis Kelce, 60% owned, $8,600. He's locking him in. I'm locking him in 100%. He'll be in all my lineups. I don't know that the winning lineups will not have, like, I think you have to have him. You can stack it any way you want. He needs to be there. I think that he's in every winning lineup of the weekend. I'm all in on him and just his ability to beat this defense, to beat any defense, really there. And maybe we'll go broke playing Travis Kelce this week. If that's what we have to do, that's what we do. But I'm all in on Travis Kelce. My game pick of the week, Chiefs winning 31-27. It's close, but the Chiefs still pull out the win at home, putting up 31 points. All right, before we get here, we're about to build a lineup, and this is what I'd like you to do in the chat. I want you to tell me what quarterback you want. What quarterback do you want us to build a lineup around? Not a quarterback. Give me a stack. Give me a stack you want me to build a lineup around. If I get a couple of the same stack, we'll run with that one. Give me a stack you want me to build the lineup around. While you tell me what stack you want me to build the lineup around, I'm going to tell you about I'm going to recap our parlay we got going on here. Thank you to Gunsmoke GSPS, sponsoring our bets from the West. Always happy to help us out. We appreciate that. You can go ahead and follow their story on Facebook at Gunsmoke GSPS. Follow along on that. Follow along their story. Look, I'm not a hunter, but just the videos of the dogs going and retrieving the birds, and they're awesome. I enjoy it. The photos are awesome. So go ahead and join their Facebook group. Follow their story on the Instagram as well if you'd like. So the parlay that we're running this week, going Packers minus 3.5, Packers Bucks over 52. Then we're going Chiefs minus 3.5 as well, and also taking the Chiefs Bills over 54 points this week. So let's build a lineup. I'm going to build my first one, walk through that. I'm going to build it with an Aaron Rodgers stack. Nobody decided to tell me what stack they wanted, so I'm just going to run an Aaron Rodgers stack here. So let's start with Aaron Rodgers. I was going to show you guys my screen. I wish I could have. Took about 3 more pieces of technology, so I didn't like it. So I liked how we were going so far. I didn't really want to throw too much into it. Maybe we'll get to a point next season to be able to throw in our screens. So, all right. Tanyan going on the radar with Travis Kelce, and a cheap Dawson Knox. Yeah, he's sitting right there in the middle again, right? So I'm going to build a Packers semi-onslaught. I want to build a Aaron Rodgers, Devonta Adams stack, but I want Aaron Jones in here as well. So what we're saying here, we got lock in right now, Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, and Devonta Adams, right? The reason I like this is because when you run these smaller slates, the quarterback, running back, wide receiver is going to be less owned. Rodgers, Adams, MVS, or Rodgers, Adams, Lazard, or Rodgers, Adams, and Tanyan, those are going to be popular. Rodgers, Jones, and Adams, I don't think it'll be popular. So I like it a little bit. Okay. So we're going to go there. In this Green Bay Tampa game, like I said earlier, if I'm building a Green Bay stack, I want to bring it back with a Chris Godwin. And so that's what I'm going to do here. Bring it back with Chris Godwin. And that's probably okay there. Let's see. So we got Rodgers, Jones, Adams, Chris Godwin. I like that there. We can put I love Clyde. I also told you I want to put Clyde in a Rodgers stack. So let's put him in there. If I go with Godwin and Aaron Jones, we essentially have to fade all the top guys now. Devonta Adams is the only top wide receiver we're taking. So let's go with the secondary plays of Kansas City. We're going to go Watkins and Cole Beasley. You can go John Brown. I like John Brown better. Let's go John Brown. I told you I liked him better early anyways. So let's go John Brown. A little cheaper too. In this situation, I have Clyde. Let's go Chiefs defense. Let's put those guys in there at 4,100. That leaves us with 6,300 at tight end. So we could go full on Packers. Go Tanyan, Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devonta Adams, and Robert Tanyan. Or we can go Chris Godwin. I'm going to go in this case. I told you earlier, I told you I didn't like Gronk as a bring back. But in this situation, you've got Godwin as the volume bring back. And Godwin can score touchdowns, but he's not the touchdown guy. So we're going to say Gronk gets 2 touchdowns. We can't pay up for Kelce. We can't afford him here. So in this situation, we're going to go Gronk. So this is the lineup that we built. We took Aaron Rodgers. That's our first question. What quarterback are you going to take? And you got to stack the top guy. You probably don't have to, maybe, but you probably have to stack the top guy with the quarterback. So we're going to go Rodgers, Adams stack. We're going to put Aaron Jones in there as well. Make it different. On-slot stack this Packers team. Bring it a double bring back with Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski. That gives us 5 for the first game, leaves us 4 for the second game, which we're going to take Clyde and Sammy Watkins, go a little cheaper with John Brown as well, and the Chiefs defense. This Chiefs defense, I think they're in a weird spot. $4,100. I think they're going to be the lowest owned defense on the slate. You're going to say, I'm paying up for these Packers, baby, right? 4,400 against an old Tom Brady. Like, I'm going to pay up for the Packers. Or you're going to say, look, I don't really care. I want to save money. I'm going to put the Bucs in at 3,700 or the Bills in at 3,300. You know what I mean? Like, 4,100 is a weird spot because nobody's really coming out and saying, I want to play the Chiefs defense against these Bills. Not when I can play the Bills defense for 3,300 against a similar offense. But nobody's playing the Chiefs. I like that. So I think if you're going to play a Packers stack, think a way to if you find a way to put the Chiefs defense in there, I think you're going to like that a lot. I think the Chiefs are the best play. I agree. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm out there with you. All right, I want to build one more. I want to build a Mahomes stack, right? Because that's the most fun. That's the most fun. So let's build a Mahomes stack. And I want to build a Mahomes stack with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. That's where we talked about. That's where the passing game funnels to both of those guys. Those are the guys for the Chiefs. They're the guys that catch all the balls. Let's do this. So we're going $9,000 Mahomes, $8,400 Tyreek, $8,600 Travis Kelce. For this one, I want to go full onslaught. Let's Chiefs, as many Chiefs we can get in there. So let's go cheap and get Demarcus Robinson in there, $4,800. Maybe Sammy plays and Robinson still gets a little run. I don't think Sammy is fully healthy. Let's see. Let's look at the practice report. So yeah, Sammy was limited all week long as well. He's questionable for the game, which I got to let you know. Obviously, Mahomes was limited participant all week long too. He actually does not have a tag designation for the game, which is very reassuring. He would have a questionable right now if they were still there. So I haven't actually seen like he's a full go and he doesn't need a tag, but right now, at least on their website, it does not show a tag. So to the build. So we're gonna fade Stephon Diggs, right? We said we're gonna fade one of the wide receivers, and we're going way low with running backs on this one. Let's not care about running backs. So let's go Devonta Adams. We didn't go low on running backs last time. Let's go low on running backs. So Devonta Adams at 8,900. Whew. All right, we got to do a bring back. We can't afford Diggs. We went John Brown last time. We'll go Cole Beasley this time. We went John Brown last time, right? Mix it up a little bit, diversify our assets. So what I want to do, guys, we don't have any money left. All right, so let me give you a recap. We're sitting at Mahomes, Adams, Hill, Cole Beasley, Travis Kelce, Demarcus Robinson. We have $4,800 per player left. So we're not going to pay up for the Packers defense, and we're not going to play the Bills defense against this stack. So this is one of those situations where I was just talking about we're going to go cheap, but we're not going to go so cheap as the Bills because we're onslaughting the Chiefs. That doesn't make sense. So we're going to go $3,700 with the Bucks. That gives us an average player about $5,450, which is fine. There's so many cheap running backs this week. I love this play here. We go Ronald Jones with that secondary stack. That gives us $5,300. We could go down to TJ Yeldon, $4,700. I don't like that. A guy that I didn't talk a lot about, but I talked a lot and tweeted a lot about him last week when I had all the Aaron Jones I could get. Williams was getting all the attention inside the 10-yard line last week. A.J. Dillon got hurt last week, so he might not be in play this week, which gives Jamal even more run. At $5,000, let's throw him in there, right? So for the first game, we've got the two running backs, Ronald Jones and Jamal Williams, along with Devonta Adams, the chalk, the guy that we're locking in, and Tampa Bay. And then we're going to run the second game with a Chiefs onslaught of Hill, Mahomes, Hill, Kelce, Demarcus Robinson, bringing back Cole Beasley. There's your winner right there, guys. Go ahead, put it in a tournament. Don't put it in the same tournament I'm putting it in, but go ahead, put it in a tournament. Hopefully you got a little out of that. I enjoy just building some lineups, looking at it, seeing what I'm going to be, seeing where it lies, seeing what you can do. Play around with it a little bit. We've got an extra day this week without any games on Saturday, so play around with it a little bit. The pricing's difficult. It's tough. It's tight. But you can get them in there. You can get Adams and Hill and Kelsey in there. You can get Adams, Hill, and Diggs in there. You can't play Kelsey. You can't get Adams, Hill, Diggs, and Kelsey in there. But play around with it there. There's a lot of cheap running backs. I will be really fading Fournette and Jones probably pretty hard, just knowing how cheap those running backs get down the road there. So thanks for joining us in here today. Go ahead and hit that like button. Apple, Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. Appreciate you listening. Come join us in the chat next time if you would. We'll see where we're at next week. We'll definitely do this before the Super Bowl again. Want to give you some single game lineups. Go. Those are always fun. The showdown slates. Those are fun. And really, I probably should have done a couple showdown lineups today, because this Sunday, that's a pretty fun one too. You can play both games, just single game action on both of those games. That'd be fine. But we'll do it before the Super Bowl. We'll do some single game stuff. Join us for that. We'll have Super Bowl squares coming up. So if you're interested in some squares, go ahead and hit me up. We did it the last 2 years. It's been a blast. It all goes through Excel sheets, Google Sheets. You see it all the whole time. Nothing's hidden from you, but we also don't have to pay for a website. So it makes it a lot cheaper that way. Follow me on Facebook at The Rumbles of Red. Subscribe to the YouTube channel there. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell. The bell tells you whenever I'm live, gives you an alert. Go ahead and hit that there too. Follow me on Twitter at Trev's Fantasy Pod, Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And please follow the sponsors on Facebook: SM Auto Detailing, Homefront CG, Gunsmoke GSPS, and Threads and more. We got more t-shirts coming, I promise. Look at this thing. It was awesome. Great work. Thank you all. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you had a blast. Hopefully, if you're playing DFS this weekend, you win some money. Go Chiefs, run it back, looking for back-to-back Super Bowls. Good luck, and go Chiefs.